of the COVID lockdown in the UK, and it kind of just grew. And we've had some amazing guests on, and we are blessed again today because we've got another amazing guest. We've got the lovely Kara Barrie on today, all the way from the borders of Scotland. Welcome, Kara. Lovely to have you here today. You are a multi-talented, multi-qualified therapist, healer. Tell us, please, what triggered you to get started in what you do?
Oh, well, thank you, Nick, first of all, for having me on. I really appreciate it. So thank you, thank you. What really triggered me into this whole arena was actually a depression. So I hit depression a number of years ago, and it really caused me to take a real serious, hard look at my life and where I was going, and to look at areas in which I was unhappy. And during that phase, I actually began a spiritual awakening, and I opened up to this whole other world of spirituality. And finally, I felt like I had found my place. I felt like I had found my calling, because all my life I'd felt like I'd never fitted in. I never found my thing. So it really felt like a sense of coming home. And ever since then, it's just been such a blessing, and I've just thrown myself into it. I have explored, I've researched, I've read, I've studied. I've really thrown myself into all aspects of it, and I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have studied and trained in a number of areas and a number of therapies, and I really just sort of followed my nose, I suppose. I followed my calling. I kind of listened to that intuitive part of me and said, okay, what is it that I want to do? And I used each thing as a stepping stone to the next thing and to the next thing. I think one of the first therapies that I ever actually got involved in was EFT, and from there it just grew and grew. And I also, a number of years ago, took part in a law of attraction coaching program with Christy Whitman, and that was really my first big deep dive into the spiritual laws and the universal laws. So it's everything's just grown from there. The Ho'oponopono practitioner qualification that I have.
I'm glad you said that word. I struggle every time I read it, and I've read about it and understand it. But no, if I try and explain to someone, I can't even say it.
It's not an easy word. So it's Ho'oponopono. So, and it's a Hawaiian word, and it actually just translates into English as to put right, to make right. And I studied that over in Dublin. It's a process that's used in order to in a way to clear energies, to clear blocks that we have in our life. And it's a very simple and beautiful, elegant tool to use, and it's really based around 4 key phrases that kind of act like a mantra for your daily life. And the 4 phrases are: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And the idea is that with Ho'oponopono, it's that the inner reflects the outer, and the outer is a reflection of the inner. So we can look to our own selves and take 100% full responsibility for anything that we are seeing in our physical reality. And it means that we can make changes if there's something that we don't like. You know, if we don't like what we see, we can change that with using the 4 phrases. The other thing with Ho'oponopono is this idea of lineage and your ancestors, and the idea that you can be clearing things from the past along your ancestral line that have been brought forward with you into this reality. So it's really beautiful, and it can be a really healing and very cleansing mantra to use for your life. And I mean, imagine if we lived in a world where those were the only 4 phrases that we could use with each other. How beautiful would it be?
Wouldn't it just?
Wouldn't it? And the story behind me getting into Ho'oponopono is actually very very unique, if you don't mind me sharing it with you.
Absolutely.
It was a very mystical experience, actually. There was one evening where I was lying in bed and I woke up at 1:11 in the morning, and I was awoken by a voice, and the voice said to me that they wanted me to teach Ho'oponopono. And for me, this voice was kind of the universe calling to me and saying, you know, this thing that you've been reading about and researching about, you know, you can use this and you should teach it to people. And I kind of thought, oh, I must be hearing things. I'm imagining things. I'm going to go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep and I woke up again at 2:22. And the voice was back again, and they were really kind of pushing me towards it. I felt like an energy of yes, just running all the way through my body. They were trying to tell me, yes, you need to do this. This is part of your journey. This is part of your next step. And again, I thought, oh, I don't know. Maybe if you come back to me a third time, then I might take it seriously. So I fell back asleep again, and I woke up at 3:33. And
Ooh.
yeah, that was the confirmation that I needed. And the message that they brought through at that time was about forgiveness and forgiving myself, and that's a real intrinsic thread that runs through Ho'oponopono, is to forgive yourself and forgive others. It's all about forgiveness, because we can set each other free when we do that, and set our ancestors free as well. And so that's what called me really to make that leap and to go over to Dublin and study and learn more officially about Ho'oponopono. And I use it within my spiritual handholding toolkit. It's something that I like to impart on others and share with others, because it's a lovely, like I said, it's a lovely, simple, elegant tool that we can all use. So that's really what got me involved on the Ho'oponopono path, really. And everything else has really just been a continuation of those stepping stones, and moving into EMDR and auricular acupuncture, and the shifts and changes that people can get from using these tools is incredible. I've seen it in front of my own eyes. And yes, and then I also studied the Akashic records, which I dived into. That's where it's really kind of like this is your life.
All right.
If you imagine, with the big red book. Except it isn't just your life, it's every life that you have ever lived. It's all of your life. So it's really a book of your soul journey.
Ah,
And all of your past experiences are within this book, within this record called the Akashic record. And we can go into that record and we can explore, and we can create wonderful healing experiences from those places. And you're using your subconscious mind to access these records, and
yeah.
you can really gain an understanding into why you're maybe doing things that you're doing unconsciously in this lifetime, things that you've carried on from a previous lifetime, things that maybe you feel like you're here to resolve. Or it's a wonderful practice. So I've been fortunate enough to work with lots of amazing people who've been able to teach me all of these amazing tools. And I just see it as something else that I can put in my little toolkit, so that I can help other people on their journey. And
Yeah.
that's really where I got the term of being a spiritual hand holder.
I know. I love that in your bio. It was like this is going to be one of my questions for you. I love your Facebook bio, particularly the spiritual hand holder. That just, I don't know. It gave me just a massive sense of warmth, because it's
Oh,
a spiritual journey is quite an amazing thing to go on, and to go
yes,
on your own. Um,
yes, it is, and
sounds quite scary.
I'm not quite sure how I came up with that term spiritual handholder, but it was something that really just came to me. It must have been divinely inspired, and it's stuck with me ever since. And I felt that it's the right term of choice for me, because it reminds me of the Ram Dass quote, where he talks about how we're all just simply walking each other home. And I love that idea of really holding someone's hand on their spiritual path as I walk on mine. And this idea that we're all equal and there's no one above or below. I'm not a guru or a master. I'm not here to be any of those things. We can just simply be who we are and walk each other home, and just let's hold hands and let's do this together. Let's have fun, let's explore, let's cry together, laugh together, let's just experience and explore everything together. So that's a massive part of what I do, is being able to be that hand holder for other people, which I just love and
Yeah,
love.
and that's the thing, isn't it? I think just right back on a couple of things that you were talking about there with the hope and oh no, or some of it. Um, that was interesting because before I understood that was, I used to be, I was taught or understood years ago, we were born with two basic fears, and then the falling down and the loud noises, and then someone told me, oh, but of course, you have the DNA from your past, and you have so you've got things that you bring from your past. I'm thinking, really, how does that work? And it was like, then suddenly it's like a case of, of course, we are all energy ultimately at the end of the day, and so yeah, we are formed by energy, of other bits of energy, and so yeah, suddenly it made sense. And I just thought, when you were talking about it, also you went to Ireland to study it.
Yes, that's right. I went over to
Did you?
Dublin. I
Did
had
you
never
not
been
think of
before. It
Hawaii?
was beautiful. Not Hawaii. No, no. I mean, going to Hawaii would have been lovely, but it just so happened, of course, because the universe is always working for you and working with you. That it just so happened that I looked up online when the next teachings were available, and they happen across the globe. But the next official one was actually going to be happening in Europe, in Dublin, and it was going to be happening in a few months' time, from having that mystical experience that night. And so I just thought, okay, I'm going to Dublin.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I know that's it. When you're mystical experience, I've got to admit, this is going to sound slightly random, but at the same time, together, because it was weird. Obviously we knew we were going to have this interview today, and you just told that story. But it was like weird. I woke up this morning. I said to my wife, I felt like there was this massive. Someone had just given me a massive dose of energy that just put it all the way through my body. And I said, I wasn't asleep. I was in that kind of not totally awake, but not totally asleep. It was just so real. And I know it wasn't a dream, because I could still vividly feel it from today as well. It's just these things happen, I think, for a reason. It's I don't know if it's related. It just struck me today. And when you just told that story, I'm thinking, oh God, yeah, it was
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that.
And yeah, and I mean, it's we all have access to all of these beautiful energetic downloads. It's just simply a case of just being open to them. They're you didn't ask for it, I didn't ask for mine, and I have things like that happen to me on a regular basis, and synchronicities and so on. I'm sure you're the same, and it can happen to anybody. We just need to be open to it, because it's all there for us. It really is.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the LOA and the subconscious mind, and because you studied with the Quantum Success Coaching Academy. When you talk about quantum, and we think of the quantum physics, and the one that always sticks with me is that, yeah, that's the science behind how your mind can control your outer. If anyone's ever seen it, the double slit experiment is a joy to behold. It's like just messes with your mind. So how did you get on with the subconscious mind and LOA? Did it go far enough, or did you then go further to the quantum mechanics of it all?
We didn't really delve into the quantum mechanics of it all. It wasn't there wasn't really any science that was underpinning it. It was very much just the law of attraction and the other universal laws, and how we can use these as a tool in a coaching situation in order to help people navigate themselves on the emotional scale, and how to manifest certain things into their lives, and just this real understanding and embodiment of the fact that you really are the creator and you have the tools and the techniques at your disposal if you so wish to use them. And that was very much what the teachings were around at the academy. Yeah.
I see. I see. No, that's brilliant. It's one of the things that starts. I think people kind of get into it. A lot of people just get into it and just scratch the surface.
Yeah.
I mean, we were chatting earlier. It's so refreshing. We were chatting just before we came on about the fact that people of my generation, we kind of get to a certain age and then think, oh, what the hell's what's gone wrong in my life? But actually now the younger generations are coming through with a bigger understanding and a much more of a willingness to accept things that maybe you can't just physically see. So accepting what is in your mind.
That's right. That's right. I think that people are much more open. People are awakening now. I think especially at this time in this year in 2020, I think there's a lot of shifts happening for a lot of people, a lot of realizations, and I think that people are wakening up to the fact that they are these really powerful beings and they can create and they have a choice, and I think it's wonderful, and like you say, it's happening now for people of a younger age, and we have children coming in now that are just born. They're just born knowing, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful because really ultimately what we're doing is we are all helping to create this shift from a 3D planet with a 3D body, and really shifting up and ascending into a 5D planet in a 5D body, and it's exciting, and I very much see what's happening now in 2020 is really very exciting time.
Yeah, it is. It's just every negative has a positive. I think so. The negativity around what's currently going on, the positive is huge. Particularly, I think on the mind shift thing. Just even on a basic level of in the last 10 years. When you've had our government been saying, we can't spend lots of money because we haven't got any, and then suddenly, we're going to stop the economy. Don't worry. We'll just get all this money. It's like a total mind shift. So if governments can do that, we can do that in our head. That's much better. But yeah, so yeah, on the spiritual side, can you tell us a little bit more about? I know you've got your group, the Birthing Unity, and we were talking about how you just with your mind and energy send the energy out for people to see and join that.
Yes, okay. So my Birthing Unity group is really a very safe and loving space that I use to document my spiritual journey. And specifically, I use it to document my channelings, my channeled information that I receive through from the higher realms and from other beings. And I love to have that space in order to share, because the type of conversations that I like having aren't necessarily conversations that you can have with the average person on the street, although I do think that that's slowly but surely changing. So yes, and my Birthing Unity group is actually, the name behind it and the symbol that I use for the group is actually very significant.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. It's actually, I'll ask quickly. Yeah, I'll put that on the screen there.
Thank you. Yes. So the Birthing Unity, that came to me during a meditation that I was doing, where I was being guided by one of my spirit guides, and that was the words that they gave to me was Birthing Unity, and this idea that really right now in the world we are really we are really birthing something that's new, and I'm birthing something that's new with all of my channeled information. So it really just felt like the perfect fit. And the little symbol that's there, the sort of the peak with the two swirls that are come from emanating out the sides, that was very much received in a meditation as well. And the symbol was actually it was actually myself in the center, and me sort of casting my arms out to share my world service with everybody, to share all of my messages, and so that symbol actually appeared to me very clearly in a meditation, which is why it's used within the group. So it's all very much being guided by the universe, and I try to include all of this in everything that I do. It's wonderful to be led in that way, and to be in a space of just allowing all of that information to come through. So yes, and in terms of me using my spirituality, I do meditate in order to attract the right people into my group, or the right scenarios for me. I do that on an energetic level, maybe rather than on a physical level, and using action to produce a result, because I think sometimes when we use action, we can kind of create resistance, whereas if we can do it on an energetic level through a meditation or whatever works for you, you can really put your call out there, and share it with the world, and allow people to come to you. You can be the beacon of light for other people, and people will find you, because we can talk to each other on a soul level, and just send that call out, and just be the light, and hold that light, and people will come. They will be attracted. So that's very much what I do with my group, and just with anything that I'm working on, whatever vision I have. So yes, and you can too.
Yeah, that's a lovely thing. Everyone can be taught how to do this. And one of the questions, when you just mentioned you had a spirit guide, I mean, how does that happen? they just appear, or
well, I think we all have spirit guides. We all have many spirit guides, and they could be loved ones that have passed away, or they could be an angelic being. For me, it's I have been able to channel a number of different beings. I am very fortunate to have a relationship with consciousness, which is known to me as Eli. And Eli is actually it's I think it's Hebrew for God or something. I'm sure I looked it up. But yes, Eli, and Eli to me is a collective consciousness, and it's very, very high level, and it's essentially source energy, along with many other sort of supreme light beings, and I can channel them vocally and share their love and their wisdom and their messages with other people. So I very much have a close connection with Eli. So that's one of my kind of guides, if you like. And I also connect to a set of dolphins who are here to help. They're really here to connect with me in order to allow us to learn from them, because the dolphins and just the animal kingdom and nature in general has a lot of wisdom, and if we're all consciousness and we're all energy, then we have the ability to connect to these other beings, or these other animals, or these other forms of life, and it's wonderful. And the message that the dolphins bring through is that they very much want to work with me in order to help create more unity in the world. So that's something that I'm heavily focused on right now.
I love that.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's so amazing. That was going to be one of my other questions as well. Is, what do you see your future, or how do you see the future going? But yeah, being able to connect with other forms of life. When yes, you're right. We're all consciousness. We're all energy. So yeah, why couldn't you? Exactly. I love that.
And I think that we're all here right now in the world, right now in this now moment in 2020. We're all here because we're playing a part in really bringing forward a new world and ushering in a new era. And how long that takes is anybody's guess. But we're very much here playing our role. And I think that we're here to bring forward that unity, and I think we can look to nature. We can see what nature does. We can see what the animal kingdom does, and they hold all of that wisdom, and it's right there for us. All we need to do is tap into it. And I'm sure that there'll be a number of ways that we can tap into these other forms of life. It's just maybe about what works for each individual, but there's a wealth of knowledge and just a wealth of inspiration, even just from nature and the animal kingdom, just inspiration and fun and joy to be gleaned from all of that that's around us. So like you say, yep, connecting back. I think it's about getting back to basics, getting back to nature and connecting. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes we put these limitations on us, and I was reading, I can't remember when I was reading it the other day, but also they were talking about the fact that trees, animals, they just have an innate, they are born to be the best of what they are in that environment. So a tree will do absolutely everything it can to be the best tree it can be using the resources that it has, and it's only us humans that get in our own way and
That's
put
right.
these
We
blocks
do.
up.
Yeah, we do. We impose these limitations on ourselves, like you said. We can tell ourselves a narrative, and of course, it happens from our early years where we're maybe being given a story or a belief from society, from our parents, from organized religion, whatever it might be, school, anything, and we can take these beliefs on, and we kind of make them our own, and we kind of live by them, and we think that they are us. And actually
Yeah.
what we really are is a divine, limitless being of absolute light. And your birthright is actually to have an abundant life, a life that's full of everything that you could possibly want for yourself and more. And that that you're not here to just work and pay bills. And there's so much more, for you, and we're all here for a purpose. And if you can connect to that purpose and find that purpose, wow, a joy.
Oh, amazing! That's beautifully put. Yeah, connecting to your purpose. You're here for a reason. Who wants who wants to go through the entire work, life, job, gold watch at the end, and where's my pension? That's not living. That's existing. So that's what
Existing.
someone said to me the other day. They said, whichever path you take, it's going to end in death. So you might as well choose a path that you really like, and one that inspires you, and one that you love doing, and one that actually gets you up and out in the morning. I wanted to ask you very quickly. I said time flies. Obviously, you said you got children. With your beautiful spirituality, how do you raise your children in that without? It must be it must be difficult. One of the challenges of allowing them to be as spiritual themselves and not trapping them, or not caging them. That's what I'm trying to say, and allowing them to grow in an abundant way.
That's right. I mean, first of all, I'm not an expert on parenting, and none of us are. And all I can do is try my best in every moment. And there's times when I fail miserably, and there's times where I think, oh yeah, I did not too bad a job. But for me, the realization is that my children are their own souls. They are their own being, and it's funny actually you mentioned that, because it's bringing something else into my awareness. But I think that we have a tendency to want to control our children, to exert our own yeah, just our control over them and not allowing them to be who they are and not allowing them to follow what it is that they want. And I very much encourage my children to go for what they want and to have what they want, unless it involves something that's going to hurt themselves or
Yeah.
someone else. And so I very much let them be free spirits, and I let them explore and just be who they are, and encourage them. They do ask questions about what it is that I do, and I do give them little snippets, but I kind of want them to figure out, what spirituality is for them whenever that time comes. But children are born knowing, they know all this stuff. It's us that's playing catch up. It's them that are here, they are here to teach us. It's not the other way around. I have learned so much from my children. It's astonishing. So yeah, I just try and let them be the free spirits that they're here to be, and I try to remind myself that I'm just a caretaker of them, if you like. And just because I'm older, it doesn't mean that I'm better or wiser. Quite often, it's the it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
let them guide me. I let them guide me. So yes.
Cool. I love that. Look, Kara, we've come to the end of our half hour. Is there any final words you want to share? Anything that you want to share with the world that you think would be a nicer place or people should be aware of?
I mean, I'm very much at the moment. I'm holding my vision for the new Earth, if you like, and a fifth dimensional Earth, and I just hold that in my vision, and I see a world that has no suffering and no illness, because in a fifth dimensional reality, you can't have those things. It's just the way it is. So I hold that vision of a world that's more unified, and a world that is free of suffering, and a world that is far more congruent to us following our own intuition and being much more led from the heart than led from the head. So that's very much my vision for the future. And I would also just like to say that if anybody has resonated with anything that I've said today, then they are so more than welcome to come and join me in my Birthing Unity with Kara Barrie group on Facebook. I would love to see them there. And like I said, it's just me chatting away in the group and documenting my journey. So if they want to come along for the ride, then they can. They'd be more than welcome.
I'm sure people will. Kara, thank you. You've been the most amazing guest. I love your spirituality. We had some lovely people saying hi to us while we were going on. Paula and Solly Yates, Nazarene was there. She liked walking.
Yeah, walking each other home.
Yeah, that was a beautiful.
Great.
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
So guys, thank you very much for sharing this half hour with us. Kara, thank you so much for sharing half hour with me. It's been an education as well. Life is a constant learning experience, and thank you. It's enlightened me. So guys, yeah, another beautiful interview, another fantastic guest, and I was going to ask Kara about to explain more about the fourth and fifth dimensions, but actually, do you know what? Go see her Facebook page, go see her journey, and she can explain it, because it's mind expanding. So, guys, listen, loved having your time. We will see you again. We have shows hopefully lined up every day next week. More interesting people. Yeah, it's going to be more spiritual, I think, because it's just a fantastic topic. We love it. Okay, guys, we will see you very soon. Take care.